All right, welcome back to another episode of the Play More podcast. I am Max.
I'm Ryan.
And if you don't know us at this point, start watching more. We're really pumped about it. We were just talking about next week's the Masters.
Yeah.
By the time this comes out, it will be Masters week.
We should have done this 2 months ago.
We probably could have started studying 2 months ago.
Yeah, for sure.
But I'm just super pumped about it. Let's just start off hot. Who do you think's going to win?
Oh, my gosh. We're going straight into
Let's do it.
Okay. My brain, Scotty,
Yep.
for sure. And then, I don't know, my heart, like, I love watching Brooks play here. I think that's great. But, yeah, then, like, Minwoo, who would be, like, way out of left field, but I think would be great.
Yeah, for whatever reason, when it comes to major championships, I mean, obviously he's a dog. I root so hard for Brooks Koepka.
Yeah.
Every major that he's in, he has such a good chance of winning. And specifically, I feel like I've been rewatching because they just posted the final round replay when Rahm beat him out, and he just played like shit on Sunday.
He really did.
He didn't make a single birdie for over 18 holes over the course of Saturday and Sunday, and they played that on Sunday. They played like 27 holes or something like that.
It was tough to watch, and that's like not like him at all because I think he handles this pressure so much. Him and DJ put so much more emphasis on the majors than I think a lot of people used to, and now I think everybody is like, well, it's especially with 2 tours now, like this is it.
Right.
You know, there's going to be some major head-to-head action.
And I would call you a pretty big Rory guy.
Yeah, I'm a big Rory guy. I would love to see it. Don't get me wrong. I think that would be one of the coolest storylines of all time, especially because he struggled and he's been just beaten up in the face of all of the bullshit going on with Jay and Liv. But he's probably feeling that, 1,000%.
Yeah.
So to see him come out and do it would be so tough. I would absolutely fucking love it. I'm hoping for it, but the likelihood seems pretty low. It just doesn't
He's
do well.
playing this week at the Valero, which
is like a shock.
It's a tune-up, perhaps, or
Yeah.
it's a, oh, fuck, let's figure this out.
Yeah. But also, too, I would think he wanted rest. He's probably one of the most fit, healthy people, so he can handle it more than anyone else. But anything that goes awry, that could not go well for him. So
Yeah, it's true. It seems like, oddly enough, he needs to figure out his driver after watching him at the Players.
Yeah.
And if he can figure that out around Augusta, I think he's going to think about, what hole is it? 13 for forever, probably.
Sure.
Just hit that perfect high draw, or don't, and just rip it into the shit like Phil did, and then get up and down and make eagle. Actually, he missed that putt.
He did miss that putt.
That putt.
But if we're going to talk about that, looking back at all the great shots, like Oosthuizen getting the albatross, which was so good.
I didn't even write that down.
Oh, it was amazing.
It's crazy.
But Phil's shot out of the pine straw, I think it was like a 6-iron.
Yeah.
And the way that landed was just crazy. But yeah, and then he missed the putt. So that's typical Phil for you.
Dude, bringing up even anything about the like one moment reminds me of 8,000 different moments that I just want to start talking about. For whatever reason, specifically what you just said, what do you think, we talked about it in a video today, but in tournament conditions, day after you play it on Monday, we're both lefties.
Yeah.
It's a different look for us. You hit a draw, I hit a cut. What do you think you're shooting?
It's funny because I watched that and I hadn't gotten to you yet, and I was like, I'm breaking 90. I'm shooting 89. Like, that is, whether I do it, that's my goal. Like, I mean, I shouldn't be playing off a 2. I would think that, the nerves on 18 tee box, I would at least plan for a triple there. So I need to be, well ahead of that on 18.
For you, though, you're a nice little draw, aim at the bunker, it would be perfect.
It would be great, yeah.
That's That's actually one of the tee shots at Augusta that I'm like, zero fucking chance. I mean, it's that way for a lot of people because it's a shoot if you're playing it all the way to the back tees. But
yeah,
most of them, I mean, outside 11's pretty straight, but 10, I can slice the shit out of that ball. 2, slice the shit out of it.
Well, I think, too, seeing some of the super high scores, watching back, like Sergio when he got his 13, and a lot of people on 12, it's, also a lack of control of spin. And, I can't spin it as well as the pros can, but
that's just equipment. We don't get grooves as quick.
Well, that speed and whatever. But, yeah, for them to be, ripping it back, I'm not going to do that. So hopefully that would manage it a little bit better. I don't know. Also, my short game is, probably my weak point, and I feel like you really need it there.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So we have that grass league thing coming up here soon. And I was hopefully we're not going to be chipping. we hopefully
are on the green every time.
Yeah, hopefully we're on the green every time in the par 3 tournament. But my chipping's just been horrible the last year, and we were so lucky to get the Wilson golf clubs, and I love them. But the bounces have just been a little bit off, and that's just like getting a free, like really nice club. Like you didn't get fitted, whatever, everything like that. I just switched back to my Vokeys, and I feel like I have hands again.
That's
which
cool.
Is super exciting.
It's crazy what bounce can do.
Yeah, it's literally just that. It's not even like that it's a Vokey. It's just I'm used to the other bounce, which is almost zero.
Yeah.
I've never played with bounce, but
yeah,
around Augusta, that's a different fucking story, though.
Yeah.
Like, also Josh brought it up. He's like, I have to play with a caddy, and I think he's pretty much a scratch. He's really good player. He's definitely better than I am. And he was thinking he's gonna shoot 80. Originally, he was saying like I could probably do like a little 78, but he backed up for the video and said 80.
What does it tip out at? Is it
7,200
or?
I think it's more than that now.
Yeah.
The yardage at Augusta. Let's look it up. What's your guess?
Yeah, I'll say 72 and change. Just under
let's
73.
see. It is. Oh shit! And when was this posted? Oh, this is this year. So they just added a bunch of yards.
75.
It's 75-45. That is deep, dude.
That's long.
Also, you're not at elevation like here.
Yeah.
And I mean, it is hot, but it's a humid.
Yeah,
like,
but if it's wet, like that is so long.
That's deep.
Yeah.
That's super deep.
Okay.
I don't know. I think
okay, 95 maybe.
Realistically, like
we both hit the ball pretty far, but that doesn't help when it's like.
It all depends on if my driver's working. If it's working, then I feel like I'm going to be totally fine.
Yeah.
But getting back to people that I'm interested in to see if they could win, what do you think of Wyndham right now?
I mean, he's got a lot of energy behind it. He's playing really well. Whatever it worked coming off that full swing and watching like with his mental health coach seems to be working for him. You know, I'm trying to root for him a little bit more, but his game is strong. Like it's really, really strong. No, it's not even like a villain thing. He's just sort of this like dark horse. I don't know.
I even literally in what I wrote question mark Wyndham Clark dark horse because he's as far as like betting odds, he's plus 3,100, which Cam Smith is the same, and so is
crazy.
Joaquin Neiman and a couple other players that are really elite golfers. Wyndham Clark won a major last year. He won a tournament this year, and like could have won the Players.
Yeah.
He was right there. He's an elite golfer. I would even almost rank him right now higher than Max Homa as far as play.
Yeah, he's playing super well.
Yeah,
and it's like weird. It was just like I think his tee shot on 18 at LACC that on any other course would have missed the fairway, and it just like put him in perfect contention to win. And so there's like, I should be probably a lot kinder to Wyndham than maybe I am.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. It's like I think it's because he's so new in this like higher tier of golfer that outside of whatever kind of like personality he has, his game speaks for itself, but there's also a bigger question mark because of those sort of things. Like you can't do that at Augusta.
Right.
It's not going to work.
Yeah.
You
no
know,
way.
unless you're Tiger, where he just like kind of sliced a 3-wood on the last hole, but he had two strokes to go. Yeah, 2 strokes.
Didn't matter.
Didn't matter at all. Speaking of Tiger, what do you think is a successful week for him?
I think he can handle the pressure. I think he's ready. I think if the weather is good, he'll make the cut. Like I'm a firm believer. He knows his course so well. If the weather's nice, he can get around it. If it's cold and windy and rainy, like his body will not respond well, and also then maybe he just doesn't necessarily want to do it as much. But the guy can play the course better than anyone.
I feel like Augusta is the one place where he doesn't do the, hey, I'm shitting my pants, I'm not going to keep playing.
Yeah.
Augusta's the place that he goes, I can probably make the cut with my eyes closed, so let's see what happens.
And he's got nothing scheduled probably for a long time after this, so he can beat up his body a little bit.
Yeah, I realistically see him making the cut. I don't think he's going to make it on the number. I think he'll actually play pretty decent because he's, all things considered, he's, from what we've fucking heard through the grapevine, because we haven't seen him play, even though he said he was going to play like once a month.
Yeah.
I think that he probably, he'll be like a top 30, I think, and that's stretching it, but I would love to see that, and I think that that's a legit possibility.
I mean, it would be interesting to look back to see what people thought in 2019 when one of like the greatest comebacks of all time happened. I mean, a lot had to happen for him to win, but like he fought through everybody else so hard.
Yeah.
And that was the first time we thought he was down and out, you know? So this is obviously his body's been through a lot more. He's 48, but
do you remember when those like what was it called? The like clasps of life. What was it called? They used the jaws of life.
Oh, the jaws of life to get him out of the Genesis. Yeah,
dude. When that alert popped on my phone, jaws of life. I was like, fucking Kobe. Now we got Tiger. What's going on here?
Yeah, he was the only one on the road.
Yeah,
and there was like a speed limit of like 45 or 55 or something.
Nightmare. Totally nightmare. I think
he was having a lot of fun at that tournament, though. I mean, you could see it in his eyes. Like it was. He was back on the wagon.
Dude, yeah, he was on the sauce for sure. Yeah, and it wasn't just sauce.
Right.
Okay, we talked about Rory. We talked about Tiger. Rombo. We haven't seen much from him necessarily. Yeah. I mean, obviously going to live, but I think that he's kind of been swept under the rug for whatever for that reason.
Sure. He's got the drive, and he's probably like he's
probably
pissed
right now.
Yeah, and he wants it. And like when he is out for blood, he's going for it.
Yeah.
And he's like such a stiff competitor, and he'll talk about Sevi all weekend, which is going to get ridiculous. But I think Rom has a really, really good chance. He's great at this course. He can control his driver. He's got the distance, obviously. And he's out for vengeance because people are pissed that he sort of just 180'd on every single fucking thing he ever said.
Right.
And so now he's out for blood.
Yeah, I think Rom can't be... You can't count him out. I don't think that Scotty would have as many wins this year if it weren't for
sure
for Rahm. Or they'd be going neck and neck, and the whole storyline would be, oh my God, John Rahm and Scotty Scheffler. We have clear like 1A, 1B, but right now it's just Scotty because he's the only one playing really.
And that 5'5" putt,
dude,
to not get the three-peat,
dude,
which is so brutal. I mean, that just tells the story of his last like 2 years, year and a half. I mean, it hasn't even been that long, I feel like. But then for Nelly to do her three-peat, like last
badass.
3 tournaments that she played, won, fucking amazing, right? So that's been
I was
great.
bummed I didn't go.
I know, it's
why
right
the
there.
Fuck didn't I go?
Yeah. I don't know.
Well, last year the tournament was at Superstition.
Yeah.
And I went, and I followed Nelly and who else was with her? Lydia Ko and somebody else. And
all the big names were there.
It was sick. But yeah, Nelly's doing like insane things. When's their first major? Do you have any idea?
Not sure.
Yeah,
have you played Seville?
No.
No, I mean,
my stepsister and her husband are actually members out there. They
really?
moved down there. Yeah.
Yeah. I heard it's a lot easier than Superstition. Like, way.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I think Super's pretty chill.
Yeah.
Like we can spray and pray, like off the tee at least. But
spray and pray.
We briefly talked about him, but Scotty should win, right?
I think so. I think anybody with half a brain is going to take Scotty to win. I mean, he's played enough. He knows the greens, even if he doesn't putt. Like, he's going to work his way around that course for sure.
He's so right now it's a different level.
Yeah.
There were some guys, like, remember when Jason Day had his era where he was number 1 in the world and balling out? Like, this is different than that. Like, this is just like a flash in the pan type of situation.
Yeah, for sure. I think if his putter gets going at all, it's going to be pretty much over for everybody else because he's going to avoid the doubles and things like that I feel like a lot of the players.
And that must be the difference, especially in the majors, like why he can be so competitive and regardless like of where they're playing is that he eliminates those sort of things more so than anybody else. Like even Tiger fucking, I mean, if you want to hammer a bet right now, it's like bogey the first hole.
Yeah.
Every single time.
For sure.
It's crazy. Like, it's such a grind to watch that guy play if you're rooting for him because the first hole, you're just already behind the 8 ball, and you're like, see if anything happens. And that's when he was in his prime, too.
Yeah. Wasn't Rory, the front 9, is, like, the worst player, but then after the front 9, he's, like, the best player by 2 strokes, but he never wins anyways.
Yeah, he just settled. And Scotty doesn't seem to have nerves at all.
Yeah.
I was really bummed, actually, that we didn't get to see Psycho Scotty this past weekend because I thought it was going to come out, but he was, like, smiling at everything.
Shaved his beard.
It was, like, Easter weekend, so that's why. But, you know, that was definitely the reason. A couple other names I had on here, and that I'm curious of what you think.
Yeah.
So, Cam Smith, he was like in a playoff in a live event in Hong Kong. Interesting. Whatever, take that for what it is. Tommy Fleetwood. I feel like if there's any possible chance that someone comes out of the woodwork,
It's Fleetwood.
it's Fleetwood. He won in Dubai. So
he likes his course. He's done really well. He's had like flashes where he's just an absolute stud here.
Yeah,
So,
Cantlay is, for whatever reason, he's kind of he's becoming one of those guys at Augusta where he hasn't won it yet, but he's always there.
Yeah.
Which is so fucking annoying.
Yeah. Oh, I can't imagine what that feels like. Him and Xander, I feel like, really probably struggle with that hard.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Xander is doing so well, but does he have it in him to handle it here? That would be awesome, but that seems like a lot to take on when he can't really win at all outside of the majors.
Yeah, and Patrick. I mean, Cantlay has 2 majors on his bag. Or 2 Masters titles on his bag with Joey, so that definitely helps for sure.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, like a billion years apart, but yeah, it's crazy.
Wow, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, because he had it with Fred, and then he had it with Tiger.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Got it. Oh, right. Like
so he's been caddying there forever.
Yeah.
Forever. But, yeah, and then my other one hasn't been really doing too well to start the year, but Cam Young.
Sure.
Kind of a little bulldog weirdo, but I
like
it.
That would be great, for sure. I think of the Cams, I would take Cam Smith because Cam Smith's short game is just, like, so good. I'm actually really excited to see him again because it's been so long.
He's a little fluffier.
Yeah, and just, like, he hits the hero shot, the shot that, like, he goes high when you would just play it safe and go low, and he's going to do something crazy.
Which he was the person contesting with Scotty when he won. And
You're right.
He dunked it on 12, and that was kind of the wrap there.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I would be fired up. If either Brooks or Cam, and then who else would I throw in?
Do you think he cut his mullet off just for the Masters because they were going to get mad at him and maybe, like, put some pressure on him? I feel like now he would wear the green jacket without the mullet, feeling a little bit better.
He's like, I looked like shit for the Open, but that's okay because it's over there.
Yeah, it's open, for sure.
It's fine. And then he ended up, I like that. I like that narrative. We'll ride with it and see what happens.
How would you, throwing this in here since we talked about the Open, how would you rank the 4 majors?
Ooh, that's a great question. Number 1, the Masters. Honestly, number 2, the Open. 3, U.S. Open, and then PGA.
It's obvious.
Yeah.
I think obviously the 2 that you would switch would be U.S. Open and the Open, but the Open the last 4 or 5 years specifically has given us just a great show. And I think, too, being here, we don't get to see golf like that, so it's so exciting.
Yeah, and there's all the history there, which is really cool. And we have cool history for the U.S. Open. Don't get me wrong at all.
Yeah.
Like, the places that they play are unbelievable. But
it's almost like the opposite because it's like the rough gets so long for the U.S. Open, and then the Open, it's like just the course is going to destroy you without the rough.
Yeah, I think you have to – they make up for lack of, like, I don't know, history of the golf. Maybe not even history, but those courses over there, link-style golf, that is what golf is supposed to be.
Sure.
And so they have you play it at its truest and most difficult form because they have the elements to play with.
Yeah.
Where, like, here, they'll try to dry it out. Like, when Beth Page was absurd, right?
Yeah.
And then what was it, Wingfoot, where that wasn't dried out at all, so they had all the rough. Poor Phil. And then where was it that
Fitzy won?
Yeah,
where he won as an AM too. Yeah.
Oh, and then Shinnecock too.
Yeah.
That was that's a wild one if you ever want to go back and rewatch something. Shinnecock was like, that place looks impossible.
Yeah,
but
sure.
It's for sure Masters, Open, U.S. Open, and then the PGA. The PGA is just, I still hold it higher than any other regular tournament, more than the Players, but it's just one. It's like
it doesn't quite have its place.
Yeah.
I think it started to sort of be like the U.S. Open, where they just made the conditions really tough, but it hasn't found its home. But yeah, for me, the Open, like seeing pros putt from 50 yards away, like that makes me feel so good. It's like, hell yeah, like I do that too.
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah. And obviously, like, there's no touching the Masters. Yeah.
The coverage is so good.
It's
I
huge.
just downloaded the app again.
Oh my god. I'm gonna make a video on it tomorrow.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm gonna wake up, like, roll over to the bed.
A tradition unlike any other, re-downloading the Masters.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and they even have, like, you pick your teams, you do some betting on there too. Like, everything is so great about it. The coverage is so good. You could have 6 screens and you still not see every hole.
They're fucking perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I thought was crazy was in 2002 was the first time that they actually showed all holes on the Masters. Before then, they wanted to keep it pretty exclusive, so they only showed a certain number of holes. 2002 happened, and they're like, okay, I feel like it's time. Everybody wants to see what's going on all the time, and so they open it up more. But so if you had never been there,
right,
or done a ton of research, you weren't exposed to seeing everything that happened, which is pretty cool.
What year, around what year did they remove any other type of sponsorship? Because someone was talking about that to me yesterday, and I don't remember a time where there was any sort of sponsor there. And Jake, who isn't like the biggest golf fan necessarily, he's a phenomenal designer, but he's kind of more on the novice side of golf knowledge and anything like that. He brought it up to me. He goes, that's really interesting that it's actually you just have Masters stuff.
Yeah.
And that's probably why the PGA kind of gets like, not the PGA just has it, the US Open has it, but like there's a different sense of like the Masters name just means more.
Yeah.
And
well, it's the only club that puts on a tournament like this,
right,
let alone a major. And it's also like why there's cease and desist all over the place.
We've gotten them. It's
perfect.
perfect.
I think, it's like something you should be proud of.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, who are you if you're not a golf brand that doesn't get a cease and desist letter? It just means you're not pushing the envelope enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
Oh, my God. Speaking of Masters merch, though, we can go without fucking making it the shape of whatever state you live in and putting it green and then putting a flag through it and doing the whole thing.
Yeah.
Dude. You don't have to do that. That's a Masters thing. That's Augusta.
Yeah. It's also everywhere.
It's fucking everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so funny. If you could pick one, this is hard. So let's do favorite Masters champion.
Okay.
We can just leave Tiger aside.
Yeah, because
outside of that.
Yeah. Outside of Tiger, favorite Masters champion. And I mean, this is, I think, maybe a little sort of tough to say considering all things, but I grew up watching golf as a lefty and watching Phil lose again and again and again. And so watching Phil win and have just the worst jump ever in celebration, but it was so great. I mean, his shot from the pine straw on 13 is so memorable. It was really cool to see Phil finally get it. I feel like he needed it.
That was one of those time periods in my life too where I was like unbelievably obsessed, and seeing him win that, it just felt like a feel good story for everybody, because at that point in time it was Tiger obviously being the best player in the world, but if Phil was in any other era, he would have been the best player in the
Absolutely.
world. And so the fact that he was able to win it in such cool fashion, it makes, that's definitely one of my top moments too.
Do you have another one?
Yeah, sticking with the lefties, I mean, Bubba's was pretty fucking sick.
See the shot on 18?
Yeah.
I like the fact that he had a 52-degree, 144 yards with like 40 yards of hook. I mean, it's just like the most Bubba thing in the entire world. But like out of the pine straw.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah, I think the Bubba story is cool. I also love the backstory of when he's walking through the crowd. And he's like, Ted, why are they touching me? Why are they touching me? Because he's such an odd guy.
I didn't know that.
He didn't like. So the story goes that he hits that shot, and there's a huge crowd around him. And so he starts to walk, and people are patting him on the back like, go, Bubba, because they all think he's just like this normal, like, cool dude out there. Well, he doesn't like that shit at all. So he's looking at Ted, and they cut just before, but I guess he's kind of like reamed some of the fans right after. He's like, stop fucking touching me. And then kept walking. At the time, I'm pretty happy that we didn't see that.
Yeah.
Tarnished a little bit of it, but that's just Bubba. That's just who he is.
Right.
So, oh well. And then,
as if that hasn't happened to Tiger a million times in his life.
Oh, right.
Whatever.
Right. Totally. And then takes a year off, and then comes back and wins it again.
Yeah.
But there's like cool emotions to that. Like Brandt Snedeker, when he first qualified for the Masters, dude went and played it like, I think he had 5 or 6 rounds under his belt before he played the Masters. He got there on Monday and just ripped 36, like just kept on playing.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, I guess you have to. This course notoriously is won by somebody who plays it a lot, so you probably want to get as much in as you possibly can.
Yeah.
But
yeah. If you could think of, non-lefty, who are we going?
Non-lefty?
Because we have a special place in our heart for those
We do,
people.
for sure. I don't know. The whole, just everything behind Hideki's win felt really beautiful. Like his caddy bowing to the course, it felt really deserved. I thought Adam Scott's win was great. Adam Scott was due, the first Australian since Greg Norman could never put it together to win the Masters.
Starts raining, and he just like all of a sudden just becomes like heroic forever because of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty epic.
What
I'm
about
trying
you?
to thinking like Spieth's was pretty cool at the
Yeah.
time because Spieth, I mean, we had Rory coming up to be like the next guy, and then Jordan coming up to be the next guy and being the youngest Masters champion, and like that one at the time felt really powerful, or however you want to say it. It was cool to see somebody that young go out there and make it happen.
Sure.
I have like recency, but I mean for sure my top moment.
Definite recency bias. Also because it just filmed so well. The
Yeah,
like I'll go
yeah.
back and I was watching Ben Crenshaw today, and his swing is just so good back in the day. I mean, it was incredible to see, and then he's bombing these 60-foot putts, but it was like, you know, in 1984 or something. I mean, it was very hard to watch.
Yeah.
To like, and also feel sort of what was going on around that time in the golf world. So recency bias, I think, is like totally fine to have.
I like that take a lot. What's it called? I know we've talked about it a little bit, but I know one of your favorite stories about the Masters is the DJ story.
Yeah, like if we're talking stories that are not necessarily related to the golf aspect, and I think there's so many of them. Obviously, the golf is great, but yeah, DJ falling down the stairs and having to withdraw, and the whole like, there's some sort of weird stuff that he was in some beef with some other players and caddies and partners prior to, so the whole thing is a little suspect. And then too, I'm reading about this, and I found out that he also had to withdraw in 2012 because he was lifting a jet ski, so he couldn't play the Masters because he was trying to move a jet ski, and then he falls down the stairs. It's like, this is the most Dustin Johnson story I've ever heard. This is the Florida Man Masters story.
Yeah, it is. It is.
So, yeah, those I think are pretty good for sure.
The guy that goes and shows up to the practice round with his sticks. That's
legendary.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Honestly, good on him.
Yeah.
He tried.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't have the cojones to try.
Nobody.
They'd actually just take my clubs away, which, yeah.
That's so epic. So fucking epic. In other news heading into the Masters, we have Justin Thomas and Bones splitting up. What the hell happened there?
I don't know. The timing's weird. The post that Justin made seems like sympathetic and kind, and like, she didn't break up with me. It was mutual sort of situation, you know?
Like I still love her and her family.
Yeah, but you're going to let go of Bones, who is like absolutely destroyed the Masters and is one of the best caddies you could possibly have.
Got you a major.
Yeah, leading in like a week and a half away from the tournament. Just something fishy is going on, unless it's related to broadcast, but then I feel like Bones would have known about that ahead of time anyways.
And he would have probably gone one more.
Yeah.
Them, like, hey, I'm been your guy in the bag for it's been what, like 4 or 5 years probably?
Yeah. I don't think he would have ever done that just out of the blue.
Yeah.
So something else happened. Or he's like, I don't think you're going to make the cut. I'm going to go find some money somewhere else.
To go get some dough.
Yeah.
This guy, Ludwig, is kind of interested right now.
Yeah.
I kind of want to see what happens there.
Yeah. So I'm curious. There's going to have to be an announcement here pretty soon on whose bag he's taking.
Yeah. It's fucking weird. That's the weirdest timing of a split up.
Right.
In caddy player partnership.
Of a caddy of that like legendary status?
Yeah, somebody that is, it's like Fluff, Bones, Joey, and probably, oh my goodness.
Is it Steve Williams?
Yeah, Steve Williams, and then help me out with Nick Faldo's caddy. Oh my God.
Oh.
The girl.
Oh,
Whatever.
I don't know.
Fucking A.
Whoops.
Fanny, that's her name, actually.
Yeah?
Yeah, that's her. Those are like the top ones, but anyways, yeah, I don't know. That's weird. That definitely doesn't like make anybody feel comfortable about Justin Thomas's odds.
Right.
He's gonna have what? His dad on the bag?
I don't think so. I'm pretty sure that guy doesn't want to do that.
No chance.
Also, too, I think that is probably due for a refresh, too.
Yeah.
You know, like if you're going to get rid of Bones, maybe try someone else besides your dad. Like go see Butch for a couple days.
Rory's doing it, apparently.
Yeah. So that would make a lot of sense.
Yeah, I could see that happening. Yeah, I think to kind of wrap all of the Masters, like what the storylines are going to end up being, it's just refreshing that we don't have to deal with the this versus this. Like they all get to the Masters, they're all playing together, but it's really Scotty's game. It's Scotty's tournament, and let's see what the fuck happens.
Yeah. I hope it's competitive, you know. I think just for everything, I hope that it's not Scotty by 6 or something.
Right. Dude, those Sundays, and there's been a couple
There has.
where you are still stoked you're watching the Masters, but there's no juice there,
For sure.
and it kind of dissipates. Like, all right, we're watching it still, but we know who's gonna win.
Yeah.
Like,
But like outside of Tiger in '97, which I
Right.
would have watched that no matter what.
Yeah.
It was crazy to see. There was an interview that they had with Colin Montgomery. And Colin was like, "Well, I'm ranked top 10 or something, and he's not even ranked. So I feel like I have quite a bit more experience out here than he does." And then at the end of the round, he's like, "Yeah, well, he hits at 320, and Colin's a big dude. He was hitting at 270 at the time, which is a fair amount, but he's 50 yards ahead of him every single time, and then just like flushing every wedge he has into every single green." So I loved like everybody who got put in their place from Tiger throughout the Masters history. It's just sort of funny to go back on.
oh, the one that Stevie Williams talked about in the Tiger documentary was when Phil and him were going head to head, and on 13, Phil thought he ripped this driver, and then Tiger was like, "Yeah, give me the 3-wood."
Yeah.
And it was
So
50 yards ahead of him.
So
That's some alpha shit. That's some alpha mentality stuff.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So we really haven't touched on Tiger hardly at all, because I think most favorite memories and shots are Tiger's.
do it.
Yeah, we got to talk
Let's
about
do
it. From like not just like all excitement standpoint, but from a branding thing. I mean, watching that Nike ball pause right before it falls
Are you
in,
fucking
it's
kidding
just
me?
like you could not write that up any better. Like, it was the most beautiful thing to ever witness. I will go back, like I'll cry. I will like have tears. If I need to feel inspired or motivated in the morning, I'll go watch that shit.
Yeah.
That's great.
Oh, the one that I watch all the time. I mean, the end of 2019 Masters when he's walking with Charlie. I mean, if that doesn't give you goosebumps,
Oh my gosh.
then you're not a human.
Yeah.
But a strong suggestion for this life being a simulation is that Nike logo.
Yeah.
Flipping up
Right.
at that point in time. I mean, there's no greater comeback, and there's no better moment than seeing what he did in 2019, in my opinion. I mean, when he was in his prime, it's Tiger. It's what he did. He was that dominant, and he was able to overcome people. And God, Chris DeMarco, he got a shit end of the draw.
Oh man. Yeah.
A couple times.
Yeah.
Like a couple times he got screwed over.
Ken Venturi got screwed over a couple of times, who's like still super pissed about it, I think. But
yeah.
there's been a lot of good luck and bad luck on this course. I think maybe one of the luckiest people ever is Fred Couples, who should have put it in the water on 12, hits it, and because it rained so much, actually held up right like 2 feet from the water, and then it's an easy up and down. If that would have gone in the water, he never would have won.
And there's an extra little tidbit to that story too. So apparently, because it was so wet, they had an issue mowing that area. So they tried to, and they couldn't. Cut it.
So it was
That
long
right
enough
there. So like they got a little bit higher, was still cut to normal length, and then that part wasn't. So
yeah.
That's golf.
Saved. Yeah.
Crazy. Otherwise, everybody would still be talking about him, but like that would have been a different story if he never won a major.
Oh, absolutely.
Like Sergio finally got his major. That was a cool one, honestly. Yeah. Sergio's, I mean, a lot of people
considering all the
him.
things that he's gone through at that tournament too. I mean, he had one of the craziest like behind the tree shots when he runs out and like has an actual leap. That was great. But then too, like I watched when he made it 13. That was the hardest thing ever, and he one putted for a 13. So he put like 5 in the drink, and then actually one holds up, and he made the putt. Otherwise, he would have had a 14, which would have been the highest score of all time.
Oh my God,
crazy.
What did Tiger make? 12.
12.
Yeah, he made 12. That's chill.
Yeah,
I'd make it 12 there.
Yeah.
Did you see the brief interview that they did at Live Miami of Phil, and he was talking about how different it is for a lefty?
Mm-mm.
It was cool so we'll just talk about 12 specifically because that's the one that I remember the most. So he was saying for righty players on Sunday when you're nervy or in general on that shot throughout the Masters, you have to either hit a cut into the right-hand pin on Sunday for them, and that makes it more difficult because the odds of losing yardage there is way higher than if you hit a draw or pull it. So a lot of the times they have to aim at the center of the bunker and cut it, and that's why you see so often, even with wind swirling or not, they'll put it in the drink. But a lefty, you set up, and if you hit it, if you're planning on drawing it, if you overdraw it, it's going further, and you're not going to be in the water.
Yeah.
It's like he had a lot of little different tidbits about that, which was really cool. I was trying to find the full like panel interview, but I couldn't. But it was cool. And then he talked about it like what I said earlier. You can just rip around cuts, and I didn't really acknowledge because I was a little bit younger during Phil's prime. Like I didn't go back and do as much research. I remember watching all of it, but like I was a younger dude.
Yeah.
He was such a drawer of the ball.
Yeah.
Which I didn't really acknowledge until.
Yeah, he made a switch.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and I don't know what year that was, but it potentially could have been around Augusta and winning it.
Right.
But yeah, this is cool. Like such a different way of like looking at that golf course.
Yeah, for sure.
But I don't know. So all right. Well, you've got. Remind me again who you picked to win.
Yeah, I said my brain says Scotty.
Yeah.
But like I feel like Brooks will do it, and then just the wild horse would be Minwoo for sure.
Okay.
What
cool.
about you?
Yeah. I'm rooting for Brooks for sure. Scotty should probably win, but also
we expect it.
Yeah, we
so
expect
is that
that.
even fun?
No, that's not fun at all. So I would love to. I mean, give me Rom back to back. That'd be fucking sick. I'm down. I'm down to root for like even if Rom had a 4-shot lead going into Sunday.
You'd be cool then.
I'd be down with that. And same with Brooks. After last year, after like leaving with a bad taste in his mouth for sure. I mean, he ended up winning a major, but I still feel like he wants the Masters. Everybody wants the Masters, so he's probably my number one that I'm rooting for. Dark horse wise, Tommy Fleetwood could be fun. Joaquin Niemann's playing phenomenal, but I would like to see. It's a bad pick as a dark horse, but Cam Smith would be fun.
Yeah,
I mean he's major champion. It's hard to put him as dark horse, but
right.
We'll see what happens. I will be there on Tuesday and Wednesday.
Oh. So
Dude,
exciting!
It's gonna be
Can't
crazy.
believe we didn't even talk about that.
I know. I've been trying to like lay low about it, talking with friends, like, "Oh, what are you doing next week?" Like,
yeah, because people hate you.
Yeah,
pretty quickly.
Well, you were gonna come.
Yeah,
and then fucking life happens.
Life happens. Yeah.
But
are you gonna bring like a film camera?
Yeah.
You have to.
Yeah. So I'm gonna bring my Fuji. So I've been diving in as much as I possibly can. You can bring full-on digital cameras.
Sure.
You just can't bring your phone in. So I'll be using up all 256 gigs of that fucking thing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna enjoy it too. I'm not gonna like just take pictures of every single moment. But
no, but you absolutely should. Yeah.
Yeah. It's gonna be.
I was diving through some archives and seeing just some of like these dudes in the 60s like sitting on the scoreboard and having to like swap out manually everything, and I'm just like, this is so beautiful. Like just the way that they would put together like how someone shot like a 35 headed out, and just it was really beautiful to see. So to have a piece of history like that when you went to look back on, it would be so cool.
I think part of it too, it just all feels fake that it's happening.
Yeah. So
I haven't even really fully acknowledged that it's happening, because as far as golf tournaments go, and the thing that I love the most in golf is the Masters. So going there and doing that sort of thing just feels weird. It feels fake.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's gonna really hit me until we're walking into the gates and all of a sudden it's there. And a lot of people have said it's crazy. You walk in and it just looks like this massive park.
Yeah.
It's this huge park of all these hills, and then all of a sudden that's where that hole is.
Right.
It's going to be
so good.
Yeah.
I also heard Tuesday and Wednesday is kind of the move, because like if you really want to watch players hitting shots, that's the day to see it.
Yeah.
Because you're really going to have to just sort of plop your ass somewhere during the week. So
my plan
on the
is
weekend,
find somebody who's teeing off and go 1 through 18, and then I'm gonna go find Tiger for sure. I want to see him there, which will be unbelievable.
Yeah.
And then we'll just cruise around, fucking see the whole thing, and then Wednesday go see the par 3, which will be tight. I didn't realize it was on the other side of the road. I guess I thought it was there.
Yeah. Also, that's like a whole other super fun thing. Yeah. I mean, like watching Siwoo Kim's wife hit it inside him was awesome, and then was it
Tom Hoagie won last year? I think he had 2 hole-in-ones.
Oh, are you serious?
Yeah.
Jeez. Yeah, that's crazy. And was it Jack's son?
Yep.
That hit the ace?
Yeah.
Yeah, in the caddy bib? That was sick.
Yeah.
That was really cool.
That'll be interesting to see, because I'm so used to watching
Jack's grandson?
It might have been his grandson at that point, because his son was on the bag for his last major.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was his grandson for sure. Yeah. Yeah. I can't believe it. I'm in disbelief still. So I'm bummed that he can't make it.
Yeah, me too.
It's life. We'll go again.
We will.
Yeah, it'll
for
be
sure.
Sweet. Well, I am beyond stoked for next week. Maybe we'll do a little like update right when I get back.
Yeah,
type of thing.
we should
just grind it out on Thursday after the first day.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, that'd be sweet.
It's gonna be a lot to talk about.
Oh my god, I'm pumped. Like this is the week. This is what we wait for.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's here.
I know. It's
We're
crazy.
gonna get so little work done,
dude. Nothing. That's the one benefit of working in a golf office.
Yeah,
it's like Thursday through
everything
Sunday.
just
I actually so I've been here for 3 years now. Around there, and everybody knows that like I wake up at 4 a.m. with the live from coverage and watch everything, and everybody when I walk in, like Sam, he'll be like, "What time did you wake up?" And I'm like, 3:45.
Yeah.
So
don't want to miss any of it.
No, none of it. So it'll be sick.
Sweet, dude.
All right, brother.
Cheers.
Talk to you next week.